Hey guys, welcome to Draw Near Moment. My name is Titus. It's that moment of the week where we draw near to Christ together. Let's answer the question, why not you? Let's get to it. Well guys, first off, I'd like to say sorry I did not send out a video last week, and I apologize for that. I was this close to doing it, and then the day before, as I was getting ready to edit it, I realized that all the footage that I got in the previous days was ruined. It looked horrible. Like I looked like a ghost. It was static. Anyway, and so I decided, you know what? Let me just take a week break and then I'll jump right back into it. So anyway, sorry for that, but I hope this one will be a way to kind of help replace that, guys. So yeah. Well, anyway, if you were here a couple weeks ago, I talked about my New Year's resolution and how, my goal is to make my life more about Him and less about me. And don't get me wrong, I love that New Year's resolution, but the more I've been thinking about it, the more I'm like, I need something a little bit more. Because honestly, I feel like I play it safe a lot of times. Like, I'm so focused on my entertainment. I'm so focused on just, entertaining myself, binging on Netflix, going through movies, just, playing video games, just doing whatever it is to entertain myself. And I think maybe you're like me, but I think us as a culture we're just bent on just entertainment after entertainment after entertainment. And I don't take a lot of risks as a result, because, why would I take a risk in real life when I could just watch a TV show and watch people take risks or something? It's like I can live vicariously and not actually take any risks at all by watching things or doing things in the digital world. And it's kind of sad because, honestly, I believe that if you have breath in you, then God has something that He wants you to do. And God has put you here for a reason. As long as you're still around, God has you here for a purpose, for a reason. And sometimes it's obvious, sometimes not obvious, sorry, but sometimes you know what it is and you're struggling with the security, feeling should I do this? I don't know. Or, sometimes it's not as obvious and you're just trying to figure out and seek out and just trying to figure out is this something that God has for me to do? Now, I was thinking about this, and a couple weeks ago, it was the national championship for college football. It was the first week of playoffs, and yeah, it was a pretty awesome game. It was Ohio State and Alabama, and then there was another game. I'm trying to remember, Oregon State and Florida State, and pretty awesome games. But there was something happening during the Alabama Ohio State game that was pretty insane. During the commercials, the Mayhem guy, the dude from Allstate, kept coming on talking about how he broke into someone's house and he was selling all their stuff, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious, that guy, what a kidder. But then it kept coming on over and over and over, and it kept showing all these different things that he was selling, and one was a lawnmower for $20 that was this really, really nice, brand new looking lawnmower, and I was like, holy cow. And so finally I got on the website that it kept saying at the very end, and I found out it was legit, and my mind blew. I was like, what? And so I spent the entire rest of that football game just hit and refresh, because they were releasing stuff throughout the night. One of my favorite items was, there was a 60-inch TV that they were selling for $60. They're I'm going $1 an inch. It was just awesome. And, they were also doing this really nice refrigerator, nice washing machine. There was a nice gas stove thing. I was like, holy cow. And I was this close, guys, to getting a refrigerator. I was so close. I had hit the buy now button. I was filling in all of my information. And when I hit send, I missed the boat. Someone got it before me, and I was a little depressed. And I'll be honest, you might be thinking, refrigerator, really? But, dude, I don't know. It's something about after you get married, the idea of appliances, they just become awesome all of a sudden. It's a new refrigerator, that'd be great. I don't know. It's just this crazy thing. But I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, God, this would be so cool if I can get an awesome sermon example out of this. I could win a car, and I could tell people, I've drawn near a moment, hey guys, I won a car, so take risks, do new things, and all that stuff. But spoiler alert, I didn't win anything. Yeah. But the truth is, somebody did. In fact, somebody won each of those items. At least different people did. And someone had the belief, and they took the risk, and they took the time to go after this because they just believed maybe, just maybe, it could be me. Why can't it be me? Why can't I be the one that gets that awesome deal, that awesome sale, and that awesome, awesome thing? Well, today we're going to be taking a look at a story of the Promised Land. And the Israelites we're told that God was like, hey, I have this awesome land for you, and it was called the Promised Land because he's like, I'm promising you this land, and it's awesome. It flows with milk and honey. It's incredible, and it's yours. But it's kind of interesting. Sometimes when God like gives us something, he doesn't like lay it on a platter for us. Sometimes it's actually something like, hey, I've put this thing out here. You just need to go get it, but I have put it there for you. And sometimes, it's like that. And it was like that for them. It's like, hey, I had this awesome promised land. You just got to go get it. Well, so what happens is they are on the edge of it, and they basically send a group of spies to go scout out the land and check it out. And this is what happens as a result. And we're going to be looking, and I believe it's Numbers 13:27. So it says, then Moses gave this account, then they gave Moses this account. These were the spies that went after all this. When we went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. It's like, that's awesome. God, which I don't know what that means exactly, but we just know that it's a good thing. Like, it's good that it does that. Don't know why, but it's an awesome land is basically what the condition is. It's like, here is its fruit. Here's some awesome fruit we got from there. But, and it's that big but. It's that thing that's like, it's just, like, this would be awesome, but, I think I could do this. But it's that but that stops us from doing the thing that God has called us to do. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Anak there. And the Amalekites live in the Negev, and the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Kenites live near the sea along the Jordan. Now then one of the spies stepped up, and he's like, hey, I want to weigh in on this. And he says, it says, then Caleb silenced the people before Moses said, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. And then there's another but, the big but. But the men who had gone up with him said, we can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are, and they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land that they had explored. Now, what you don't know about this story is that, at least at this point, and you end up finding out later, is that this cost them everything. This act of disobedience, this act of like, God, we really don't believe that you have this for us, cost them everything. If you ever heard of the Israelites wandering in the desert for 40 years, this is where it comes from. It comes from this one act. The fact that they didn't believe. And so God was like, okay, you don't want the promised land? Then fine, you don't get it. We're going to let this whole generation die off. And then maybe the next generation will enter the promised land and take it, unlike their ancestors. Yeah, that's rough. And actually the only people of that group that were able to actually see the promised land were Caleb, the guy who stood up, and there was another guy who stood up named Joshua, who got to see the amazing promised land. Now I want to end with this thought. What are you missing out on because you just don't believe that it can happen? There's this idea, there's this mindset that when something big enters our heart or enters our mind, that we're like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think that it's in the cards for me. There's millions of people out there. How could it be me? How could I be the one that leads this massive movement, this massive ministry, and just take this thing and change the world? How could it be me? It's just so far out there. I just don't really believe that God has that for me. And it's that mindset that God is like, listen, it's not about you. It's not about what you're capable of. It's about what I can use you to do. So what is your lack of boldness, your lack of faith costing you? Because it could be costing you everything. Just like it cost these people everything. You could be missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime because you just don't believe that God has it in the cards for you. Now maybe you're like, I don't know what God's calling me to. Well, you're missing out in the sense that you're not seeking out God right now to find out what God has put you on this earth to do. Or maybe you know what God has put you here to do, and you're just like, I don't think I can do that. That's just a little out there for me. And what is it costing you? Because it could be costing you everything. And I don't want to miss out on the amazing things God has for me. That's why I do Draw Near Moment, because I believe that maybe, just maybe, God could use this to do awesome things. And that's why I do other ministry things too. What are you missing out on? Because it could be everything. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Draw Near Moment. I hope it's helpful. I hope it maybe ignited a flame in your heart that where you're just like, man, I need to go after this. Now, I was unspecific for a reason because I think God has put us all here to do different things. So find out what it is for you. Now, if this episode was helpful, help me out by hitting the like button below and subscribing so you can stay in the loop. Maybe there'll be other helpful videos in the future. I hope there are. I do this every week on Wednesdays, so come check me out again. And yeah, I will see you next week for another episode then. See you then.